You're listening to Storage Nerds Podcast, where we unravel the best-kept secret of the real estate investing world, the storage industry. Join the grassroots guru in self-storage, Stacy Rossetti, in insightful discussions about finding, funding, and running these spaces, allowing you to yield the highest returns possible. Get your foot in the door on self-storage and discover how to properly purchase facilities, negotiate with sellers, and close the deal without worries. Start unpacking that investment wisdom with Stacy right now.
What I'm going to go through today is like some ways to find storage, to look for storage facilities, okay? And then we'll just kind of get you started. Now, before we do that, let's see what else. Okay, so I want to just write a couple of things on the board, all right, before I forget, otherwise I will. So, oops, wrong color. That way you guys can see. That's my website, okay? So that is where you can go and get all the information that you need about me and what we offer. I got all different kinds of courses. I got the deal analyzer, I got coaching, all kinds of stuff, okay? Also on that website is where you can get access to my podcast, right? So if you want to listen to the podcast, I get a lot of people tell me they're listening to the podcast. And then, and then you could always just go to my YouTube channel. Like a lot of free stuff is as well there too. Okay. But I always call this my triad, right? This is the how to learn how to invest in self-storage, immediately or get started and then, do it, actually do it. Right. So we have the super simple self-storage online course. Right, that's what, if you buy that, it'll take you step by step on how to get started in self-storage investing. Gives you kind of the good overview of how to do everything. There's like 100+ videos in this course, all right? And then we have the deal analyzer. This is where, and this is a course as well too, and this is where you get the deal analyzer, and then you get a whole bunch of training videos on how to use it, right? The truth of the matter is, right now, this is what I want to talk about, is the market is nuts. We all know this, right? If you are not making offers on storage facilities, then you are never going to find one, right? Because I have 15 virtual assistants that do nothing but call owners. We are putting a ridiculous amount of offers in, and we still don't get a lot of stuff. We don't get a lot of things under contract, so you have to know that this market is nuts. Anyway, so if you're not making offers on storage facilities, then you're not going to find something. You're not going to find anything. Okay. So get the course so you can learn how the whole industry works, and then have a step-by-step process on how to do this. Get the deal analyzer so you can make the offers. You got to make offers. Okay. And then you have this training, right? You have the weekly training. That says training. All right, so now, so this maybe needs to go out like this way, because I think it's kind of, perfect. Okay, so, so this is like the triad. And then you also have the Facebook group, which is called Super Simple Self-Storage as well, too. Okay, and so you want to join the Facebook group, get the course, get the deal analyzer, come to the Wednesday trainings. And then all four of these together are really going to help you to, get that first deal under contract. That's the purpose. That's what I'm trying to help you guys to do. Okay. I just want to remind everybody about this so that you guys can get out there and start making offers. Now, what I wanted to talk about right now was, I don't like that camera. What I wanted to talk about right now was, the way the market, I talk a lot about the market. I'm talking a lot about the market lately, but the truth of the matter is the market is nuts. right? So I want you guys to realize, really how it's working right now. Because I talked to a lot of people, because the Storage Nerds doors were open, and I talked to a lot of people about their like aspirations of like buying storage over the last month, right? And I get a lot of the same people having the same kind of thought process. And I just want to clear this up. Okay. So, and I'll say hi to everybody here in just a second, but I want to clear this up. All right. Everybody here has a buy box. All right. All right. Everybody has the buy box. All right. And actually do this for me in the chat. Just answer this question for me so I can read them. Like, if you could buy any type of storage facility out there, what would you buy? Explain to me your storage, like the perfect storage facility for you. Okay. And just put it into the chat so I can read them. But essentially, like, everybody has a buy box. Okay. And the issue is that right now the market is like is nuts. We all know this. The real estate market is nuts, and interest rates are super high, right? So we've got interest rates. And then we've also got your down payment. This is if you're going to go and get a bank loan, right? Okay. Interest rates are really high, and if you need to, and down payments are really high as well too. So banks are being, basically from this right here, it just shows you that banks are being very, very conservative. Okay. The down payment is really high. Down payment is going to be anywhere from 20 to 30%, but I would say most of the time it's going to be at 30% down. Okay. Interest rates right now, like, I just had a student close on a deal at 6.5% interest, but he said that his bank told him that he got in like right at the last moment, and they're telling him that the next next loans that are going out are going to be like upwards of 8% interest. And this is a conventional loan. All right, conventional loan. So I'm going to move this over here and say conventional loans are like upwards of, say, 7.5 to 8% interest. Okay. And I see, like, in Facebook groups and stuff, I saw one post out the other day that was like, hey, what terms is everybody getting? And everybody's saying that the terms are just horrible. Okay. So ultimately, when terms are really high, then that just means that the banks are being ultra conservative, and they're just making sure that their risk is very minimal. Okay. So what that means is that if you listening to me right now, if you are the type of person that you're saying, I have $100,000, I want to go and buy a storage facility, and and I have to get a bank loan in order to do that. Okay, let me know in the chat if this is how you are. All right. And so basically what that means, which is a lot of students in the coaching program, and a lot of students are like this. They have 100 grand. 100 grand is a lot of money, but in real estate terms, especially right now, it's not a lot of money, right? So if you only have 100 grand, right, and you have to put, 30% down, 30% of 500, $500,000 is $150,000 down. So you can't really, is that right? I'm horrible at math. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong. But anyways, so 30% of X amount of dollars is what you can afford. So that means that your buy box, right? Your buy box has just been minimized. All right. So number one is your buy box for your down payment has been decreased. Okay. And because you can only buy so much money. Your money will not buy a lot. I mean, back a couple of years ago, people were buying at 10. I mean, I have many students that bought loans at like 10 or 15% down. All right. But now it's very, very hard. You're typically at like 30%. So that means your buy box is becoming smaller. Okay. And then when you're running your numbers and you're doing your financing stuff, last week I went over the deal analyzer and we ran numbers on the property that we just closed. When you have to buy something with your interest rates being so high, then, you know, only certain deals work. Only certain deals work, right? So, you know, because the interest rates are so high. So that means number two, your buy box just got lower, right? This went from, you know, from this, I'm like, oh, I want like, you know, a facility and I want it to be nice and I want it to be like, you know, gated with security cameras and I want like 100 units and, you know, this is what I want, right? So you could have gotten a next SBA loan for $100,000. For $1 million at 10% down a couple of years ago, right? Because SBA will do 10 and 15% down, right? But the issue with SBA loans is what are they at? Does anybody know? Put it into the chat if you know. But SBA loans are at around 11% right now. And the reason why, 11% interest, and the reason why is because they're prime plus 1 or 2, right, is what they are. And it's a variable rate. These are fixed, and these are variable. And so as long as the government keeps increasing interest rates, which most likely they will, then at least for this year, you know, then the interest rates are going to go up. And so like personally, we have an SBA loan right now that we are paying 11% interest on. All right. The only way that this works, right, is if you are buying at 50 cents on the dollar or less. 50 cents on the dollar or less. So just think about that. If you only want to put 10% down and you want to pay 11% interest on your property, what that does is that makes your buy box smaller, right? Even smaller. So when I talk about buy box, I talk about, there's a lot of things we're going to go over today, but one of the big things is if you are that person that has to get bank financing, either by putting 30% down and getting 8% interest, or putting 10% down and getting 11%, or let's say 15% down and 11% interest, so 10 to 15% down. If you are one of these people that has to do this, then your buy box has become very, very, very small because your money doesn't buy that much anymore, right? And so because of that, you know, there's just a smaller pool of deals that work, right? Due to your interest rates being super high. And that's what we're seeing by putting all these offers in. The sellers of the property. Now, what we're seeing is that sellers of properties are becoming more flexible. We are putting a ridiculous amount of offers in, but they're becoming more flexible in the idea that they are open to getting offers on their deals, and they're open to listening to you, and they're open to like at least getting offers. Okay. And like last year, like we were having a hard time even being able to put offers in, right? People were just like, no, or they want like super ridiculous prices. Okay. So again, going back to my deal analyzer, my amazing deal analyzer. All right. This tool is there to help you put offers in, because your buy box, if you need to get financing on a deal, bank financing on a deal, your buy box has become very, very small. All right. Banks are not financing deals because they're conservative. And on top of that, numbers are not working with financing. They are working, but it's few and far between. Okay. All right. So the great thing about the deal analyzer and what I teach, if you've been following me for years, is that I teach to make 5 different offers. Okay. You want to make, and you want to run your numbers, on 5 different, that's a lot. If you're doing 5 separate offers, that's a lot of offers to be running your numbers on, but if you can do a cash offer and you could do like creative deal structures, and if you can do bank financing, if you could run your numbers getting a private lender, if you could run your numbers on fixed versus interest-only payments, and then if you can create offers explaining all these different types of deals to the owner, right? Your buy box has just gotten bigger. Okay, your buy box. So if you're making an offer and your offer is like, hey, here's my offer, it's $1 million, and that's it, right? Then you are making your buy box smaller. The market calls for a bigger buy box. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of different ways to make your buy box bigger. That's the goal for today, all right? So that you have more of a chance to find something that works, okay? So you want to make your buy box as big as possible. So because of that, I really push making 5 offers at the same time, or even making a whole bunch of different types of offers. Because when you make an offer to an owner, and you can use this deal analyzer, you can use this process, not only going directly to the owner, which is what we do, right? But also making offers to brokers through Crexy or the MLS, because you're sending over your offer letter, and by law, they give that offer letter to the owner. Okay. So you can do this with any type of deal, any type of way to find deals. Okay. But my point is that our goal over the next couple of years is to make our buy box bigger. That's what you need to be doing. Because I talked to many, many people over the last couple of weeks, and their buy box is, I have $100,000, and I'm going to have to go to a bank and get a loan, and I'm expecting to buy like the perfect storage facility for that, and I want it to be like within driving distance of my house. Okay. And the truth of the matter is that is few and far between. Okay. Rarely in the next couple of years are you be able to find something like this. Let's make our buy box bigger. Okay. Okay. The next thing, buy box here. Okay. The next thing with the buy box, all right, as I already brought it up, is location. Okay. Gone are the days where you need to have a facility right around the corner from where you live. Okay. This is not something that you need to do. In fact, we just spent 2 days, because I had a 2-day boot camp with my students. And we went over, it was the management boot camp inside in the coaching program. And we spent 2 full days going over how we automate everything so that we don't have to be there. Okay, so remember that, we have 16 facilities, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida. Okay, we live in Florida, we live in Tallahassee, and my husband, he travels, he does go and check on all the facilities. We have boots on the ground people that manage our facilities. And then, for instance, like one of our facilities right now, we're laying gravel. Right, we're getting all new gravel, so Pete's there managing that, right? But so yeah, he has to go to the facilities every once in a while, but we don't have to be there all the time, right? So maybe once a quarter, something like this is what he does. Okay, so I want to make sure that your location is not within. Now I used to teach like your first deal should be within 2 hours of you. right? But this was back in the day when there was like a plethora of storage facilities out there. Okay, there's not a plethora of storage facilities out there anymore that are available to purchase, and they're available for you to purchase, like, you know, within the terms of like what's being offered right now. Okay, so I'm telling you that what COVID was a blessing in disguise for the storage industry, because everything went remote. We were already remote beforehand, but everything went remote. There's no reason for you to have to be at your facility all of the time. In fact, when you go to the storage facility, like, you know, what do? You're there like maybe to go fix a gate and then you leave, or you're there to, you know, overlock and then you leave, you know, and you only have to do that like, you know, once a month. Okay. So you don't have to be next to your facility. So I want you to make your location of your buy box bigger, so that you have more of a chance to find something closer to you. I mean, not sorry, closer to you. More, find something that you can buy within the money that you have to buy, right? Now, you know, obviously, if you got like, you know, $1 million to spend, you can do whatever you want, right? But most of us, we have 50, 100, 200, maybe 300 grand. You know, typically, I would say 80% of all everybody that I talk to, and I talk to a ridiculous amount of people about storage, they all have $50,000 to $200,000. Okay, all right. So, okay, so let's put location, right? Let's put location. Buy box. Let's put it down here. Number 4, buy box location. The more open you are to looking at deals across the entire country, the more of a chance that you will be able to find something to buy. Okay. Now, I was going to say, okay, so now what's really good, what I'm saying is that I said, look at deals across the country. That doesn't mean that you have to buy that deal in that area, but the more deals that you are looking at and like running numbers on and stuff, the more of a chance that you're going to become aware of what types of deals are available out there right now, right? So for instance, like we have about $75 million in offers out right now. And we're in like almost every state. We're in at least probably, I would say at least 20, 25 states that, you know, we have offers out on. We're looking at a lot of other states, but we've got about 20, 25 states that we have offers in. Okay, so, and like, because I see so many different offers across so many different states, I am becoming very aware of what is out there for sale. And also I'm becoming very aware of like what the owners are asking or looking for or wanting. Right now, I'm not going to buy all these facilities, and we're just putting offers in all around the country. And a lot of times the offers and the price of the owner don't match. But every offer that I put in, every deal that I look at helps me to become more aware of how the market is turning and what is happening in the market. So when I say in terms of let's make your buy box as big as possible, what I also mean is that you need to become more aware of properties that are available and what the owners are looking for, right? In terms of working with you, okay? All right, so I want you to just become aware of all of the deals that are out there, okay? Aware of what deals look like right now. Now, when you go to Crexy and you look up, or LoopNet or MLS or anything like this, when you're going to look for property, because I would say 80% of you right now, in order for you to find a property, you're going on to Crexy. All right. Now, when you go to look at the property, obviously we all know that the properties on Crexy are like super high, right? So a lot of people don't even put offers in because they're afraid of that price. They're afraid of whatever it's listed at, or they're afraid that there's not a price. This is unpriced, right? So I want you to, like, when you look at Crexi or LoopNet, I want you to just not worry about the price that the broker is listing it for. I'm sure I'm going to get like shot in the foot for saying that. Okay. What I want you to do instead is I want you to get my deal analyzer, and I'm not trying to push my deal analyzer, but you need to run offers, right? 5 different ways and come up with a whole bunch of different scenarios. And then on my deal analyzer, it's red is bad and green is good, right? So you're running the numbers and you're coming up with the offer. Green says, yeah, this is going to work, you know? And then just make the offer with the offer letter to the brokers on Crexi. Now they may be selling the property for, you know, $1 million, and you're like, crap, I can't afford $1 million. Like, there's no way. And then you like say, let me just let me get all the information from the realtor, and let me plug all the numbers into the deal analyzer, which honestly, you really don't need a lot of stuff. You need like 6 different things, because there's a lot of formulas and stuff on the deal analyzer. So it's not a lot of stuff that you need, that you can run the deal analyzer and make an offer. It's just an offer. That's it. You're not under contract. You don't have due diligence. It's just an offer. And what that does is also, you know, you're going to, you know, help the realtor, because I'm guaranteeing you most of the time realtors, when they get offers in, they ain't getting 5 offers on one time. That's for sure. Okay. But it also helps them to be able to kind of get their mind open a little bit. You know, I feel like sometimes like the brokers, they just want like that one offer and that's it, you know, but it helps them as well too. So it educates them, say, hey, look, you know, I looked at your deal. I ran the numbers based on what you gave me. This is where I'm at. These are my offers. I'm giving you these offers so that you can submit these to the owner. And yeah, so the price is not $1 million, but these numbers work. And a lot of times, even with like the creative deal structures, you can get close to the $1 million, right? You can get close. You know, you could say like, look, I'll pay 500 grand. And if you owner finance it for 10 years, you'll get to 800 grand or whatever it is. So it's kind of close. You know, you do that as well too. And that helps the realtor and the owner become more aware of the possibilities of how they can get the deal done. So for instance, which makes your buy box bigger. Could you imagine if you just looked at the deals on Crexi, got the information that you needed, plugged the information into the deal analyzer, made the offer, and then just did that for like all the deals on Crexi, you know? Because I went on to Crexi, I actually do, one of my virtual assistants went on to Crexi and basically looked up all deals that were a year on the market, still a year on the market, and had not closed. A year on Crexi and they had not closed. All right. That's a huge opportunity to take my deal analyzer, run the numbers, make an offer, use my offer letter, make the offers, and see if something works. And only make the offer based on what the numbers on the deal analyzer say that are going to work. Okay. And it doesn't have to be the sell price. It's the price that makes the numbers work for you. Okay. And I really feel, in fact, we're going to be doing this, but I feel that you will find some opportunities by doing that. Your buy box will get bigger. Okay. Your buy box will get bigger. So you may be sitting in an area where you look on Crexi and there's no storage in your area, right? So you're just dwindling down your buy box. All right. But if you open it up and use tools that are out there, MLS, Crexi, LoopNet, whatever it is, and just make offers. Just make some offers. And then the more offers that you make, the bigger your buy box is going to get. I can guarantee you, because I had somebody that just came into the turnkey acquisitions, and he was adamant that he wanted to buy something in Texas. But in turnkey acquisitions, like we share all of our deals so not only do you have one virtual assistant working for you, you've got 15 virtual assistants working for you. And so he went in and looked at like 15 other deals. And all of a sudden he's like, look, I'm open to this date. I'm open to this date. I'm kind of just open to whatever. I just want a good deal. I see all the types of deals that you're doing. I see the numbers that are being run. I'm open to a good deal. That's what I'm open to. And he lives in Dallas. Okay. So that's what I'm saying when I say get your buy box bigger. You don't have to be remote. I mean, you don't have to be right there. You can run your facility contactless. This is a term that came up during COVID, right? All you need is a call center and a boots on the ground person. Especially for these smaller facilities, okay? If you are okay with having facility not in hand's reach, right? And having a call center answer your calls and a boots on the ground person handling like the overlocks and stuff, your buy box has just gotten way bigger. Okay. But if you're the type of person it's like, no, I live in California and I only want something in California, guess what? It's going to be hard to find a deal in California or Nevada or Utah. I mean, there's some states out there that it is difficult to find facilities in. And then there's states that it's just left and right, one good deal after the other. I ain't telling you what states those are because we've done all of our work to figure all those out. But you can do the same thing. Get out there and start looking at deals and making offers so that you can become more aware of what the market looks like. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Location, being aware of deals, remote, making offers. Okay, now let's make your buy box even bigger. All right, let's make your buy box even bigger. Anybody interested in making your buy box bigger? Well, you know how to make your buy box bigger. Deal analyzer. And on my deal analyzer, right? You can buy your properties with cash, seller financing, private money, and then bank financing. And there's some other creative deals solutions. Okay. Do you want your buy box to be bigger? My buy box is the biggest it can be because of this. All right. I will buy anywhere in the country and I can do all of this. Okay. So I could really buy anywhere or do anything. And you want to get to the level, to the highest level that you can get. And the one thing that holds you back, remember, you have the bank financing, which 80% of you, I can guarantee, is thinking, I'm going to go to a bank and get a loan. Right? But if you understand these concepts, if you understand how to raise money, if you understand how to put creative deal structures together, if you understand how to partner and how partnerships work, if you understand these concepts, your buy box will be too big, right? We have too many opportunities. Okay. So I really, really push, and I've spoke about this and I've taught about this a lot, and I have a whole 2-day boot camp in May about this, where I spend 2 full days on this. But you've got to learn how to pay for facilities with cash. How does Stacy pay for her properties with cash. If it's $1 million or $2 or $3 million, how does she do that? All right. How does Stacy get her deals seller financed or find deals for her students or get her students to seller finance? Right? How am I almost, I'd say 95%, I'd say 90% debt free on my properties? Right? Right? How do I raise private capital? This is what you have to focus on. If you want your buy box to be bigger and you want more opportunities to come to you from now over the next couple of years, because I'm going to guarantee you the next couple of years are going to be even worse than what it is today on the financing side, on the banking side. The banks are getting super tight. All right. And, there's still opportunity right now, but that opportunity is getting smaller and smaller. So you got to focus on this. Okay. So for cash, right, I have a fund, right, or I syndicate. I just came back from a 3-day boot camp, not a 3-day boot camp, a 3-day conference in Houston, the Raising Capital Summit. We spent 3 full days going over, people just like me, going over deal after deal after deal. So for instance, I listened to a lady. This lady was amazing. I thought she was amazing. I can't remember her name because I listened to so many. And actually, I set an appointment with her because she said, just set an appointment with me and we could talk about working together and stuff. And I was like, I want to work with her. But so this lady, this woman, her very first deal. So she was an investor. She flipped homes. And that's what she did, right? So she did a couple here, a couple there. And then she was like, I want to get into multifamily, which is typical, right? Everybody wants to get into multifamily. And so she's like, I'm going to just start a fund is what she's going to do. And I'm going to try to go out and buy this apartment complex. And she said, so her very first apartment deal that she did was a syndication. And it was maybe $2 million or something. It wasn't a lot of money. I know $2 million sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot of money, right? She picked, it was a severely mismanaged apartment. And this is the same concept for storage. This is exactly what I do. But she went out and she went and she set up a fund. And she went out there and she raised the money to buy this apartment complex. And she picked that up for $2 million. And I think 3 years, she sold it for $8 million. Okay. It was amazing. It's a mismanaged facility, amazing, great deal. And then her second deal was a $40 million raise. She set up a fund. And the great thing that she does, because my fund is a 25-75 split. I take 25%. And my investors get 75% for a split, right? So we split that. And her fund, it's opposite. She gets 75% and her investors get 25%. Could you imagine doing a $40 million deal and get 75% of that deal and raising all the money yourself and then, managing and stabilizing yourself? I mean, this one was a complete badass. And I was like, I need to figure out how she's doing that. That's what I want to do. I don't want to give 75% of my deals away anymore. I want to make 75% and give 25% away. Now, obviously, my first fund, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? So I'm just out there pitching and bitching, and that's what I'm doing, and just doing my thing, right? But the same thing with her. She got out there and she raised the money. The first deal was a small deal, and then she just started building and getting bigger and bigger and bigger deals. So this is how you're going to do that, right? That's how you do it. Now, this is this might be a foreign concept for a lot of people, but 5 years ago, I would have never thought I would have ever been able to do that, ever. And I syndicated 2 deals. I co-sponsored a deal, I syndicated a deal, and I did a fund all in the last 6 months. So if I can do this, anybody can do it, right? I had to educate myself. I had to learn. I go to capital raising summits and I educate myself. Okay. I will be able to do any deal that comes across my plate because I learned how to do this. Raise cash, raise money. Okay. Seller financing. Seller financing, you all know that I push this, especially on the deal analyzer, right? And we make 3 offers, right? We do 3 different types of scenarios. Because the truth is when you talk to the seller, you don't know what's going to make them tick, right? Is it the down payment? Is it the monthly payment? Is it the interest rate? Is it the purchase price? It's the end price, right? So when you think of seller financing, you think of what is the end goal for the seller? What is their goal? What do they want? And then you create a situation where they feel like they're winning. Okay. And it may be because they don't want to pay their taxes. It may be because they want to make sure their wife is secure when they die on a monthly basis, which is exactly what happened to me on both scenarios. It may be that they want to 1031 exchange the money in the next 2 years or whatever it is, So figure out what the owner's end goal is, right? And then you make 3 offers based on that. Okay, that's what the deal analyzer does. Private money, my first 12 facilities that we own, I got 100% financing on those deals for the purchase price. I got 100% financing for the purchase price. I did not put in a penny into any of the deals that I bought because what I tell my private lenders is that I will stabilize the property. I will come out of pocket on a monthly basis, annual basis to make sure that I stabilize this property. And it's going to cost X amount of dollars to do that. So that is my investment into the property. All right. So you can actually be 100% privately financed by creating a win-win situation for the person that's going to loan the debt. Okay. So you've got to learn how to come up with structures, private, partnering or debt. All right. I do debt and partnering. But I prefer debt, but actually I really prefer syndication. I really prefer working with my investors and stuff, but I'll do any deal, honestly. Just give me the money and I'll figure it out. Okay. All right. Private money. Private money is private lenders. Private lenders are going to be your friends, your family, your colleagues, your acquaintances, everything in your circle that's near you. Right? Not strangers. Strangers are not private money. Strangers are funding and syndicating. All right. So, I had exhausted my circle, sort of, kind of, so I was like, look, I'm just going to start me a fund. That way I can really get out there and put my name out in the world. Right. So start with your circle. All right. And go from there and just say, look, I'm going to buy a storage facility. How much money you got? I'm telling you, when people ask me hey, I'm interested in your fund or I'm interested in working with you, I'll just say, look, how much money do you have? You tell me how much money you have and I'll tell you exactly what we can do with it. I have no qualms with asking people how much money they have anymore, because I need to know so I can figure out how I can help you. You want to get to the point where you can be the source of education for the investors. You can direct them into the right category right here. Okay. The bank financing we talked about, interest rates, down payments, that kind of stuff. That's all right here. Conventional loan, SBAs. And then creative deal structures, other ways to structure your deal. So for instance, I just got off with the guy that wants to join Turnkey Acquisitions. He is an investor that focuses on residential right now, and he wants to get out. But all the properties, pretty much most of the properties that he's ever bought are subject to, right? I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the subject to, right? Which is typically a residential creative deal structure, right? And guess what? You could do those for a storage as well too. You can do it for any type of property. You could do a subject to for land, commercial, storage, anything that you want to do if you understand the concept. Whoop. The last, not the last property that I bought, but the property before that, in May or April, I can't remember. Anyways, we assumed the loan. We assumed the loan. And so now this loan assumption, a lot like, banks right now, they're not going to do loan assumptions because the loan is at 3% and now it's 10%. So they're not going to let you assume any loan. So this does not work with bank financing. All right. Especially right now. Right. But if it's owner financed, it's already being seller financed. Why can't you just assume that loan? We talked to owners up in New York. They got the deal owner financed. And we're like, look, let us just assume that owner finance deal. We'll start, tell the owner to meet us. We'll start taking over those payments and we'll give you the chunk of change after that assumption, right? That was like 700 grand and he was up 400 grand. And so we'll give him 300 grand or something like this. And then we'll assume that loan. So the down payment is flip-flopped. It's not for the down payment of the purchase. It's really the payment for the loan, and then we're a payment for the purchase, and then we're assuming that loan. Right? There's so many different structures. I'm not honest. I just like love coming up with structures, So, but like you need to understand all of the creative deal structures out there, so that when you do come across certain types of scenarios, you can think outside the box. You don't want your buy box to be so small. You want your buy box to be big. Think outside the box and make your buy box bigger. That is your goal. That is your job for the next couple of years so that you can acquire property. And everything that I'm telling you right now could be for residential, land, commercial, storage. It's just real estate in general. We all know that the market sucks and it's not going to get any better because it takes a couple of years to correct itself once we even stabilize. So according to the Fed, they're supposed to do another interest rate hike by the end of the year, right? So that means it's going to take the next 2 years to really stabilize everything. And so this is the time when this comes into play, right? Is right now. So you've got to educate yourself on this stuff. Okay. If you join Storage Nerds, we talk about this on a regular basis. All right. I talk about it in my course as well too. I offer it in the Deal Analyzer, okay, as well too. So this is what we're talking about. And then if you join the coaching program, May is our 2-day boot camp coming up, but you'll be able to rewatch last year's funding boot camp is what it's called. And then you could just get all up into this. I go over all these different things. Okay. So you'll be able to watch the replay if you join. Okay. And then you'll have me. So you get out there, look for deals, and I'll just be like, yeah, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's do this. Okay. All right. So that is my 2 cents on buy box. The buy box. All right. That is the goal. Your goal is to make your buy box bigger over the next couple of years. And, you got to be open. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to write down. The types of deals, real fast. Okay, just remember that there's, the income producing. And the mismanaged. And then there's new construction. Okay, those like the 3 kind of main deals here. Or I could say conversions. Okay. So make sure that your buy box encompasses all of these. Okay, you're open to, and when I say new construction, in conversions, you can also say expansions. You don't want to be like, I want to be like Stacy, and I only want to buy mismanaged facilities. All right. Because the reason why is because mismanaged facilities are very, very hard to come by. They're not hard to come by, but they're hard to finance. That's the issue. Unless you have all your ducks in a row and you can do this kind of stuff, like I could buy any store, I could buy any mismanaged facility, right? Because I can do all this. But most people can't until you educate yourself and do this. So mismanaged facilities, for us internally inside turnkey acquisitions, the mismanaged facilities are the hardest ones to sell. Although everybody says they want to do mismanaged facilities, you can't get financing on a deal unless it's seller financed, because banks aren't going to be financing them. So a lot of people cannot buy these facilities. I'm telling you, everybody wants to, but they can't because you have to pay cash or you have to get it financed through a seller. A lot of times banks won't finance them. Okay. Income producing properties are great properties to buy, but right now, an income producing property equals going to a bank and getting a loan, but then the interest rates are high and the down payments are high. So the numbers are having a hard time to work because of that. Right? So then that makes your buy box smaller. If you say, I want cash flow, I rarely ever see deals with cash flow right now, unless it's over maybe $1 million, but at $2-3 million, you definitely get cash flow. It's a little bit harder with 2 million or less. Definitely $1 million or less is a little bit harder. Okay. So if you're saying I only want cash flow, then your buy box has shrunk to very small right now. Okay. And then new construction is a great time to be building, especially in tertiary and secondary markets. All right. It's a great time. And remember, it takes you anywhere from 1 to 3 years to do this. So if you started new construction now, you'll be able to lease up back on the upswing. All right. So there's nothing wrong with building right now at all, just as long as you're not in primary market or sub-primary markets. Okay, you want to be in like a secondary to a tertiary market is where you want to be, and you want to look into it. But that's what I'm saying. So you want to have these. You want to be available. You say, look, whatever type of deal it is, I'm going to make offers. I don't even care what it looks like. I don't care how big it is. I don't care about anything. I'm going to practice making offers. I'm going to get more confidence in doing that. My buy box is huge. And at the same time, I am really, really going to focus on doing this, figuring out how I'm going to pay for everything. All right. And if you can do that over the course of the next 6-8 months, I'm telling you, there's going to be so many opportunities for you. But if you keep your buy box small, you're going to miss out on the window. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just want to look here real fast. Jimmy, hey Jimmy, how are you? Jimmy's looking for his first. He's in my area. Hopefully you got a hold of that owner and you get that facility. That'd be a great facility, the one that we talked about. And okay, Lorenzo is in California. Good. Getting out there and starting. Hopefully I inspired you to get out there today. All right. And let's see. Tina's here as well. So welcome, Tina. And Jose is here. I'm going to answer all the questions what I'm going to do for the last couple of minutes. And Jose's here from Texas. I'm from Austin, Pflugerville, Austin, Round Rock. That's where I grew up. All right. So if that's where you're from, that's my area. Okay. I know Texas like the back of my hand. Okay. Bobby. Okay, good. Nice to meet you, Bobby. Thanks for coming in. And then who else? Tajik. I don't know if it's Tajik, but nice to meet you here. Thank you for hopping on. I appreciate it. Danika's here. She's looking for some storage. And Jimmy's here, mismanaged facility. Jose's looking for 100 plus with some boat and RV storage. That's a great facility. That's going to be expensive, right? So hopefully you got some money for a down payment, or you're working on this. Okay. And I like if people want bigger facilities just because there is more opportunity right now. And I was telling somebody like the $1 to $3 million or the $2 to $3 or $2 to $4 million price range. There are some amazing deals out there right now. And a lot of these bigger owners, they are open to financing, right? So for instance, like we have a deal right now in Montana. He was at $5.5 million. He dropped his price to $3.3 million. And he'll owner finance. So we made an offer at $3 million with owner financing is what we did. So he dropped $2 million just in the last couple of months because like he's one of those ones that was on Craigslist for over a year. Nobody bought it. Okay. And so he dropped $2 million. $2 million. And actually we made an offer even less than that. Okay, good. Yeah, see, SBA is now 11.25. Thank you, Noel. What's your opinion on a small 32-unit construction facility? If you got space to add on, there is nothing wrong with buying a small storage facility, just as long as you can add on. It's a little difficult to make money without any expansion, okay? That's the thing. But it's good. You can always start and do it. Like one of our students, Matt, his very first facility is like 30 doors, and there was no space to move. He did everything by himself manually. He got in there. And that was like 2 years ago. He just bought a 6th storage facility in Storage Nerds. All right. And they're all kind of smaller facilities too. You know, he's kind of sort of like, you know, he's just kind of like me a little bit in that way. He's getting a lot of owner finance deals and stuff. Technical difficulties. I'm not sure what to tell you, Steve. Or hopefully everybody else could hear me. I went to the Raising Capital Summit. If you can make this, I highly recommend it. It's only once a year though. So you missed out. But next year they'll have it. So just follow, go to raisingcapitalsummit.com. You can follow Tim. I'm going to get Tim to come talk to my mastermind. He's a great guy. But the thing about that summit was that I got to hear how everybody is doing it. How are they raising money? How are they doing funds? How are they syndicating? How are they talking to investors? How are they treating their investors? It was a fantastic way to really see how to really do raising money. Okay. All right. Okay. I appreciate you guys hanging in there till the end. Don't forget. All right. Got to get my course, get the deal analyzer, go to stacyrossetti.com, join the Facebook group, and I will see you next week. All right. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Storage Nerds. Hope this informative conversation inspired you to go out there and jump into this highly profitable business venture that people rarely talk about. Get more tips on storage space investing at www.stacyrossetti.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave a rating. Together, let's build that thriving passive income one storage space at a time. Until next time.